Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chat and Craft with Lorraine. My name is Lorraine Tierney, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from New Hampshire. And I love to make cards. I love to send cards. I like to share cards. And I really like to help other people make cards. And I like to make treat packaging. I like treats, and I like treat packaging. I have a big piece of glue on my um, glass mat here. So anyway, tonight I'm coming on because I want to make a treat package with you, but I'm going to take just a minute. I use my Stampin' Mist, which is a stamp cleaner, so it dissolves ink and other stuff to clean your stamps, and it does a great job cleaning my glass mat too. And I've been creating lots of stuff today, so I made that really messy. Okay, so tonight we are going to use, let me switch my camera over. Please say hello if you're watching. Let me know that you're there. And if you catch the replay, I'd also love it if you say hello or leave me a comment if you're watching on YouTube. It'll make my day. So we're going to use a piece of the Elegant Pine Snowflakes designer series paper. I love these papers. They're just beautiful. And hi, Julie. Sorry, my earbud fell out. We are also going to use the Delicate Pines stamp set. And this is the same set that, or suite that I'm using in our Elegant Pine Snowflake virtual online retreat. And if you go to the events tab on this page, you can find out all about it. And that's coming up and going to be lots of fun. If you live in Canada, you can join through my friend Melva Peters, and that information is on there too. Hi, Jan. So to get started with this, all we need is a 6x6 piece of design series paper and our trimmer so that we can do some scoring. So we are going to score this with the pattern going up and down in the direction that you want. So this really isn't a directional pattern, but if it was, you would want it going up and down. So we're going to score it at 2 3/4. And remember, don't press super, super hard with your designer series paper because you could go right through it. I tend to go light, and as you saw, I go up and down a few times. And 5 1/2. So that was 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. And we're going to turn it a quarter turn to the left. And I'm going to score it at 1 inch and at 4 5/8. Okay, so you have a bigger section at the bottom than you do at the top. And you know what? I was going to do this on a piece of cardstock with a marker so you could see it a little better. Let's do that real quick for part of this because it's going to be hard to see. I forgot that I had that idea. So let's do that scoring again. We are going to pretend that this is the way our pattern goes. Okay, our pattern goes up and down, and we're going to score it at 2 3/4 and at 5 1/2. We'll do this real quick. We're going to score it at 1 because it's going to be hard to see what I'm doing on the dark cardstock, and 4 5/8. I mean the dark DSP. Okay, now I want to cut these, not cut, score these in half. So I'm only going to score from this line, and this is my template, so I'm going to write on that, down to the bottom. So it's 1 1/8, is half of that space. So I'm going to start at the line and just go down. You can see that I only scored that far. Hi, Joanne. Oh, that was supposed to be 1 3/8. Ignore that mark. 1 3/8. So I'm going to mark that. And this one is 4 1/8. Okay. And I'm going to mark these. Whoops. Okay. So that is the basics of it, except for a little bit of additional scoring that is a little bit different. And we're going to do it with a ruler and our stylus. So I'm going to take my pointy tip and my spatula off, and I'm going to put in the scoring tool. I take your pick tool. I'm going to use the smaller one. And we are going to score. I'm going to, like I said, it's hard to see these. So if I use a template, I can show you. We are going to score from this corner to this point and this corner to this point. And I'm doing it on my piercing mat so that it has a little bit of give and I can push into it a little bit and get that indentation. So you can see that indentation there. And now I'm going to do the same thing up to this corner. And I put my stylus in the corner first and then start. Otherwise, if I put my ruler in there first, I feel like my stylus starts out next to the point I want rather than on the point I want. Okay, so then we have that. So can you see those V's that were scored in there? So that's what the template looks like. We're going to finish this one now. So we have our 1 inch at the top, and we have 2 larger ones at the bottom that we need to score in half now. And so it's 1 3/8 and 4 1/8. So I'm just going from that score line down to the edge. And the same thing over here from the score line, which I can feel better than see, down to the edge. Okay, so now I have those 4 sections like this, 1 2 3 4, and then this little one, but he doesn't count. And now we're going to do the diagonals. Okay, so just like I did it on this one, I'm going to do it here. And I'm going to be careful because the designer series paper, as we know, is not as thick. Okay, and we need to do that on this one. So I'm going to that extra score line we put in on the middle. I'm sorry if my head is getting in the way, but it's tough to see them in the light. And then this one. And on this side, I will show you on the template, we only go to this intersection here. We're not, this is just for gluing, so we're not scoring that piece. Okay, so now we have to do a little cutting. And I'm going to cut just on this. If you need to see me cut on the template, let me know. So I'm just going to cut little wedges off in between here, just a little bit. So we'll have a little less bulk. This is the bottom of the package or the bag. I guess you could call it a bag. I know I did not show it to you yet, and that was intentional. I want you to see how it's made. And now I'm going to cut off this little piece here and just give that. Okay, so now we're going to fold on our score lines. Or this first, we'll just fold on the straight ones. And get all these little flaps. Okay, so this is important to see how it looks like that. We've cut off a little tab there, and we've just made little tabs there. Hi, Melanie. And now we're going to finger fold on these diagonal lines. Okay, so we're doing all our folding with the side we want to see at the top. Okay, and don't forget to do this folding before you start putting this together, or it gets really tricky. Hi, Judy Ann. So now we have to cut off a little bit more on this tab over here. I think I'll show you on this one first. So this line comes up like that, the diagonal line. We're going to cut off a piece that mirrors it pretty much, and then take that top tab off as well. So I don't score it or measure it. It's just kind of eyeballed. And we cut this one off already. Okay, because you just want this little piece is going to be what glues that together. Okay, so let's do that on this one. I'm just gonna, so it's coming up, and I'm gonna cut it coming back down. Okay, and now I'm gonna put some glue on this little tab and fold this in half, and it will go right on to that. We'll give that just a minute to dry. Okay, and you can see our bag is starting to come together. Now these pieces are just going to fold in to make a little bit of a square bottom, and we have a bag that looks like that. And it's a self-closing bag. It just closes itself. It's pretty cool. But let's glue these closed. And it's a little bit tricky because you don't have much to push against. It's really hard to get your finger in there. I try to get my bone folder in there to just kind of rub those two together. And then a little glue to hold the next one down. And a little glue for the last one. And now you can put it down and put your bone folder in and try to get that nice, and I'm not too even here with this one, I seem to have slid. There we go. Get it nice and even. So that is the basic form of the bag, but we need to do a little bit of decorating on it. Now, we don't have a corner rounder anymore, and I've seen people use punches like this to round their corner. So I'm going to live dangerously and I'm going to try it. So I'm going to put the corner, it's folded, I'm going to get it a little flatter, and I'm going to put it in to this corner, and it's right up there in that corner, and I'm going to use that to round it. I have to flip it over now to get this side to go in there properly. There you go. Not too bad. We've got it rounded, and I'm going to use, do you remember these little triple mini punches? They all put different kinds of ribbon holes in. So I'm just going to put a little one like that. Okay, and we're going to put a ribbon on that in a minute. But first we're going to make a little tag for it. So I used 2 of the layering circles. I don't remember which ones they were. This one is about 1.75 inches, and this one's a little more than 2 inches. All right, and I operated on a stamp today. The Take Your Pick tool has a little X-Acto knife thing on it, and I cut the gift out of this little something for you stamp because I didn't want the gift. So I cut that out. There it is. It can go back in if I need it to. And let's see, I'm going to use the green, I guess, because I didn't bring over cherry cobbler. So this is Old Olive. And I'm going to stamp this right on here. It says a little something for you, because that's what we'll have in the bag, a little something. And I think I will do the pine cone, or maybe 2 pine cones next to each other. I love this little pine cone stamp. Let's get that, and we'll do that in the pecan pie. There's a little bit of pecan pie in here on the sprigs and things, so we'll use that. And then I have a whole bunch of these to show you. I've made them in a whole bunch of different patterns today because they were so much fun to make. All right, I'm going to glue this on flat because we're going to pop the red one up on our bag. I don't know if it's a bag or a package. What do you think it is? So let's put some things in it first and put our ribbon on it. So here's one of those Ferrero Rocher things that would fit in there. You might be able to fit 2 in there. You could fit some Dove chocolates in there. That's about 4. I think that's pretty good. You could, if you wanted to gift somebody a roll of the baker's twine or 2, I think these would fit in. Yep, those would fit in very nicely. Hi, Maria. So there's lots of different things. This is a little lip balm. You could fit a lip balm and a chocolate in there. I thought maybe you could fit a little hand cream in there, but this is a little bit too big. So you could put different things, and a glue bottle is a little too big. I checked that out. I'm not going to put anything in here right now, but we will put this piece of ribbon on here. This is the shaded spruce and gold ribbon. And I'm going to eyeball it and hope that's enough ribbon. This ribbon looks like it would be big and difficult to tie with, but it's really not. You could tie it like this and then put a bow around it. Let's see, I don't know if I cut myself enough actually to do this kind of a bow. I would have needed just a little more, but you can see it's not very bulky. It's a very, even though it's a wide ribbon, it's very thin and it's not bulky at all. So I'm just going to do it with a little thing like this and trim my edges. There we go. And I'll just do that one. And then that one. Okay, and then we'll put this on the front here with a couple of dimensionals. And I'm going to put the dimensionals on here first and then press the circle into those. And if there was something in the bag, there would be a little more resistance. Might be a little bit easier. And these are the gems that go with this. These are faceted snowflakes. So I think I'll put some of these on. Oh, I'm glad you guys like it and think it's cute. My bag was stuck on there. So I think I'll use a couple of the red ones. I'm going to put one right there. And one over here. And maybe one up right there. So there is a cute little package with some gems on it. It stands up very nicely. And it would hold a nice little treat. So I said I made a few different ones. This was the first one I made with the Seasons of Elegance paper from last year and just a little jar of joy with a little message inside. Then I thought I would make one for fall, so I used the Autumn Toile paper. This one I put 2 holes in and tied the ribbon that way. And that's a cute one. It would make a cute table favor. Yep. And they're pretty quick once you get ready. And then this one I did, this is the gift from the Jolly Delivery stamp set. And that's what this paper is from that. And I made some red ones. So there's quite a few different ones. I wonder which one is your favorite. And I would suggest you make yourself a template like this. It starts with a 6x6 piece of DSP, or you could use cardstock and then decorate it. And this would show you how to do all of the scoring. You could write the measurements on the back. So thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you will give that a try at home. If you'd like more information on our Elegant Pine Snowflakes retreat, let me know and I'd be happy to give that to you. And if I could help you make cards at home, I'd love to do that. If you need any Stampin' Up! Supplies, I can help you with that too. So have a great rest of your Thursday night and I'll see you next week. All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining me. You can have all my chocolate, Maria.